Congressman Paul Gosar joining us from Arizona to talk about the latest in Fast and Furious. Congressman, thank you for your time tonight, sir.
Oh, you're welcome, Ken. Thanks for all you do.
You bet. All right, so we saw an editorial by your colleague, Representative Carolyn Maloney from New York, in the New York Daily News yesterday, in which she said that the investigation into Operation Fast and Furious is nothing more than a, quote, Republican red herring, and that it is distracting us from the real topic that needs to be discussed, and that is additional gun control laws in this country. First of all, what would you say in response to your colleague's assertion that what you and others on the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee are doing is nothing more than a Republican red herring?
Well, first of all, I would hope that she's reading the same memos that we're getting, because it seems to me that she's got her facts totally out of whack here, because even the ranking member, Elijah Cumming, has asked for questions or for answers. And so I'm a little bit taken aback that maybe she's not getting the right information, because she's really off base here.
Okay, we talk about the memos that you've been receiving. I mean, anything specific that immediately comes to mind that you think debunks this assertion? Because we've heard it from more than just Representative Maloney. We've heard it from Attorney General Holder himself.
Well, Cam, that's what it seems that we go. That's where our fight back is more gun laws. But we fail to realize that all our federal firearms dealers follow the letter of the law to a T. In fact, there's memos upon memos, emails upon emails, asking the feds, the ATF, and the DOJ, are you sure that you want this going? Are you sure you're tracking these? And they get the same answers. But, this is the same old ploy. We see this administration cloud the issues with trying to show that there was maybe something that was started under the Bush administration, and then try to cloud it with this one, that this one was going on. And they're very, very different. She alludes in her dictation that this was the same as the Bush administration. No, it's not. When Operation Wide Receiver was done, it was done with 400 guns. It even with the cooperation of Mexico, surveillance and tracking property, they lost a considerable number of them. In this case, there was no cooperation with Mexico. We hid it from them. We even hid it from some of our special agents on the other side. And there was no surveillance and no tracking. I don't know what she's talking about.
I don't know either. But, you bring up a really good point, and that is the confusion that I think has been intentionally sown by defenders of this administration regarding some of the Bush-era programs like Operation Wide Receiver, the Hernandez investigation, which was a phrase I hadn't heard until very recently, Operation Linebacker, the Justice Department tried to bring up and then kind of dropped that. I mean, what is the truth regarding these operations that you all have been able to investigate that took place during the Bush administration? There were clear differences between these operations and what happened in Fast and Furious?
There's very clear differences, and the fact is, as I just highlighted them, Cam, is that there was no surveillance, there was no tracking mechanisms on these guns, and this is unheard of. And in fact, the sheriffs in Arizona, bipartisan split of sheriffs, called upon Holder to resign based upon this travesty of an operation. It's not like his comments were back to us saying, how dare somebody call for holding people accountable to the same series of laws. Well, what they did is they endangered the folks on the ground, our police force, our sheriffs. We got allowing criminals to have guns and not knowing where they're going to be.
Well, yeah, absolutely right. Now, when Representative Maloney says that the real conversation that we need to be having is the need for new gun control laws in this country, what's your response to that?
Well, we don't need more guns and more gun laws. In fact, what she starts to quip is, once again, she follows the president's lead, and she talks about 84% of all the guns that are found in Mexico confiscated at scenes are coming from the United States. And that's not even close to being true. The most we can find is 17% of them. But this goes back to what the president said about a week after Eric Holder did in early 2009, talking about gun trafficking, and that he was going to support Eric Holder and on this aggressive nature. This is clearly Mr. Holder's dictation. He had to have known about it, and even this year, I don't know what Ms. Maloney is looking towards, but Holder said that he didn't know anything about it in mid-May, and the president on CNN Espanol talks about in mid-March that he knows about it, and there were mistakes made. I don't know what's going on here. It seems to me like there's a huge amount of incompetence, and or that we have a huge cover-up. Either or, Mr. Holder needs to go.
You've been joined by more and more of your colleagues who have been saying the exact same thing. Now we're even seeing some of the presidential candidates bring this up and say that it's time for Attorney General Holder to go. The Attorney General is going to be testifying before the House Judiciary Committee in early December. Do you expect, Representative Gosar, that he's going to say anything different than what he said before the Senate Judiciary Committee?
I don't, and I think that people should be shocked, that he couldn't even say sorry, to the Terry family.
Mm-hmm.
His coldness, his insincereness, it's just appalling to me, and I think it was appalling to a lot of people, and I would hope that more people would take a look at this and see his actions, because they are a representative of an individual who shouldn't be running a high agency like the DOJ.
Well, listen, Congressman, I really appreciate your time tonight, sir. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. I got to ask you one more question before we let you go. The Washington Times is reporting that in the sealed indictment in the murder of Border Patrol agent Brian Terry, some pretty stunning allegations. Not only were these individuals that are accused of killing Border Patrol agent Terry using guns sold in Fast and Furious, but apparently, according to this indictment, which now, again, is under seal, the allegations are that these individuals were actually targeting law enforcement officers. They were out there looking for trouble. They were looking to attack law enforcement officers with these guns that they obtained through Operation Fast and Furious. Do you think that has an impact? Should that matter to somebody like Representative Maloney, who continues to believe that this investigation is pure politics?
Well, I think she should, and she needs to spend and come out here on a trip to visit our border down here and see what's actually going in Arizona, and understand what we're living with, and the fact that we were all used as collateral in this offensive program. Not finding these guns, the only way we'll find them, Cam, is at crime scenes throughout the Southwest and on the Mexican side of the border. That's just horrible. But we got surveillances, the mobile on top of mountaintops. They change when they're identified. This is high stakes, and they're very sophisticated. And I would not doubt that they are looking at our law enforcement individuals, especially when we were using some of these, poorly equipped border patrol, early on.
Yeah.
Some of them even had beanbags, for criminy sakes.
Well, absolutely. In fact, the vice president of the National Border Patrol Council, the union that represents the non-supervisory agents, pointed that out, that was not an appropriate response, but that agents have felt pressured to use these non-lethal devices when, clearly the cartel members who are operating on U.S. soil, they don't feel that same sort of pressure from their higher-ups to use non-lethal devices.
Well, that goes to our point, Cam, is that, how about upholding the laws that are on our books? It's not a choice of picking and choosing the laws that you want to uphold. And it seems like this administration does that over and over again. And what's the cost? It's human life on our side of the border as well as on the other.
Absolutely. Congressman, again, really appreciate you joining us tonight, sir. Have a very happy Thanksgiving, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
Cam, always a pleasure. Same to you.
Congressman Paul Gosar joining us from Arizona tonight with the latest on Operation Fast and Furious.